Welcome back to another episode of the Lehigh Valley Prospects Men's Lacrosse Podcast, presented by Smith Sports Media. I'm your host, LJ Smith, and alongside me this episode, I have Lincoln Brayford, a senior from Parkland High School. Lincoln, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you today?
Very excited to have you on and kind of talk about your career throughout your high school career, your club career, but also you are committed to college, so we'll get into that on the latter end of the episode. But first, let's just talk about where your love of the sport came from. So when did you first pick up a lacrosse stick?
So I first picked up my stick around kindergarten.
Okay.
I played football and I ran cross country a lot. So it was kind of just a mix of both, how fast paced lacrosse is, and the contact from football. So I kind of just started.
So that natural transition from those two sports into what you found lacrosse to be.
Yeah. My dad found it from his buddy and then just kind of put me into it.
Okay. So kindergarten, was that just a youth program through Parkland?
Yeah, it was the SPYA program.
Okay.
In the winter, they do winter trainings.
So that was your first exposure to the sport. Now, how did that kind of continue to grow into high school? Did you take advantage of that youth program into a club opportunity?
Yeah, so I did youth for about 5 years, and then I finally decided I'm gonna stop playing one sport and do club.
Okay.
Since club's all year round, had to drop at least one of them. So I played club all the way up until last year, since we don't have club anymore for seniors.
Okay.
But it was really nice. I played Headstrong for the first 3 or 4 years, and then I moved over to True Valley.
Okay.
And True Mid-Atlantic.
All right. So are you on both clubs, or you transitioned from one to the other?
No, I was on both at one time. It was kind of True Valley, and then True Mid-Atlantic is another branch.
Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned kindergarten, kind of getting exposed to the sport. Who kind of influenced you? Who kind of showed you that, and how did that continue to grow?
Another one from my dad. He really put me into it, and then his buddy Rob Green was one of my first coaches. So then he made me really stick with it. And then I moved up and had more of my buddies' dads as the coaches. And then I'm my buddies are playing it, I'll play it.
So just being around that group of friends that kind of had that similar interest as you and were able to kind of just grow with that.
Yeah, we all kind of grew up together and we're all still playing together. So we all really like it together.
Okay, that's awesome. You mentioned playing other sports and kind of taking football and cross country, combining that into what lacrosse is. When did you finally take that step? What age around did you just commit to one sport and being lacrosse?
Probably going into high school, I completely stopped playing everything. I stopped doing cross country, basketball, football, and just really focused and just went all in on lacrosse.
Taking that opportunity of just playing lacrosse into high school, you've been a member of the Parkland lacrosse team for the last 3 seasons, heading into your 4th. What kind of skill set have you been able to bring to the team throughout your years?
Definitely my ground ball skills. I'm really good off the ground, I think, and then my stick skills are really good. So I think bringing those two to the table, it really helps the team move the ball off the ground and get it upfield for our offense to have success.
So you mentioned being good on the ground. What position do you play? Have you played that your entire career, or has that kind of transitioned?
So I've played just about every position on the field, going from goalie all the way to defense, attack, midi. I've really fell in love with defense. I played long stick midi for a while. My ground ball, I think, really came from the long stick midfield area.
Okay.
Being that was their main job. But the attack midi was fun, just not as fun as hitting people.
Okay, that's fair. So you mentioned that. What strengths, you mentioned the ground ball skills. Is that one of the main strengths you feel, or are there other strengths you contribute as well?
Those are 2 main ones. Definitely my IQ is another one. But my ground ball, I think, are phenomenal. So I use that to every advantage I possibly can.
Awesome. Cool. So on the opposite side of things, where are some things you feel that you can improve on moving into this season, but also making improvements into your college career?
Definitely my checks. I don't have many. I am confident throwing, but I'm looking to add a couple more, use them this season, and have them for college.
Okay. Yeah. So that's definitely something added, just a little wrinkle into your skill set. So you mentioned club opportunities. When did you first join a club, and how did you see that kind of transition and improve your game?
I first joined the club around 4th grade. So the transition from club ball to just a youth level ball, definitely a big difference. Every kid on the team's good. Every kid out there wants to win. Their parents aren't just making them play. Youth, it's just little Timmy's buddies are doing it. I want to do it. Club, we're here to win. We want to win tournaments. And that's like, it was everybody's mindset.
How long did it take you to kind of adjust to that mindset? Did you notice like right away, like you're out of practice for club or you go to your first tournament as a club and you're like, wow, this is different?
Well, being around kids from the Valley, seeing like we all came together wanting to win. And then the first tournament came and I was like, wow, I had to like take a really big step forward and actually like be like ready to go every game because like we didn't have any breaks.
So that kind of changed your mindset.
Yeah. Like right there, it was like, we got to go all the time.
Okay. So that's something, it's an adjustment period, as you mentioned, going from a youth level to a club level, going up through your years into the ranks. How do you think that prepared you to play at the high school level?
Definitely having Headstrong and True put me in like the really good tournaments. It really prepared me to play up against like upperclassmen as a freshman or play up a grade level or two and really push me to be the best player I could be.
That's awesome. Some accolades and accomplishments you've got throughout your years going into your senior year.
Don't have any awards under my name quite yet, but looking to add to that list this year. I was third on the team on ground balls. I only played half the season, but once I came in on the field, made my presence, I think it wasn't ever looking back. And we only lost 2 or 3 games while I was out there, and it was great to be out there.
Okay, so being out there, being a part of the team, using your skill set to kind of bring the expectation higher for the program as well. Awesome. Some big games that you've played in throughout your career. This could be club, this could be at Parkland. So just mention a couple of those.
Definitely the 2 back-to-back EPC and district finals the last 2 years. And then the state quarterfinal game against LaSalle was pretty fun to play in. They have all top to bottom D1 guys. So that was a great game to play, just be able to be a part of.
So playing against higher level competition, those bigger games, bigger environments, definitely a draw to you.
Yeah, like we might not come out on top, but like just being able to be up against the guys that level is just, I think, accomplishment itself.
Yeah, and I talked to Andrew the last episode about being able to play at Lehigh University. So what is that experience like playing at like a D1 school where you know top tier talent's playing every day?
The field and the atmosphere is definitely something to like just take in during pregame. It's just like, wow. And the stands with the people behind us, it's nice. So like being able to step out onto that field, it's like really nice to just take in for a second.
That's really cool. So now moving into this, what keeps you coming back? What's your favorite part of playing lacrosse?
Definitely suiting up with the guys every day during the spring. The bonds we build during the spring, I think, is like something that like we'll cherish for the rest of our lives. I think we'll like grow up and like still be in contact with each other. So
that team aspect, that friendship, the friendships you have with your teammates.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing like that brotherhood at all.
No.
That's incredible. Transitioning away from your favorite part of the sport now, what is something you like to do outside of lacrosse? Is there anything that intrigues you, engages you, that you're doing when you're not thinking or playing lacrosse?
To like free my mind, get my mind off lacrosse, I go like golfing or like go fishing.
Okay.
Really like doing both of those. I'm not the best golfer, but I try.
Yeah, that's all that matters. So now, Lincoln, some rapid fire questions. What's your go-to spot to eat in the Lehigh Valley?
Definitely Chipotle.
Chipotle is just a classic go-to. You know what you're getting each time.
Every time, same order.
Okay. What do you get? What is it?
Lately, it's been white rice, no beans, steak, corn salsa, pico de gallo salsa, sour cream, cheese, and lettuce.
Okay. Bowl or wrap?
Gotta be a bowl.
Going bowl. Okay. That's not too bad. I'll give you props for that. What's your go-to song to get you ready on game day?
Definitely like Dreams and Nightmares by Meek Mill.
Okay.
Nice little Philly song. So
yeah, they're keeping it local.
Yeah.
All right. Any pre-game rituals, something quirky you do game day to kind of like something you do every game?
Always definitely tweak my stick a little bit. Like always make sure everything's good to go. My tape's got to be perfect. So make sure all my tape's good, all my strings are good, and then I'll always be bumping the music no matter what.
No matter what. So if I see you on the field, you're bopping.
Yeah, I gotta be.
All right. That's kind of the mindset you get moving into it. Do your teammates kind of feed off that? Do you see your teammates doing the same thing?
Yeah, they're all normally like coming down from their cars, bumping, listening to music, or if we're going on the bus, we all got headphones on, we all got a speaker bumping, so we're all just kind of like getting ready to go.
Locked in. And that attention to detail, being so meticulous with your tape and your strings being so precise.
It's, I don't know, some people say it's OCD. I think it's just like a thing, like my grip's wrong, I'm blaming it on the tape every time.
Okay, it gives you that excuse out of it. All right, so let's move into the recruiting side of things. You mentioned you're committed to Misericordia University. How did that process work for you? Shed some light on what you went throughout this recruiting process, starting from the beginning. So what schools did you talk to and reach out to, or did they reach out to you?
September 1st, opening window, I sat in my room just writing a bunch of emails to a bunch of different colleges. It took about like a week for colleges to finally start like writing back to me, getting like people's phone numbers, setting stuff up. I had a bunch of D2 schools hit me up first before I'd reach out to them. I went on a handful of visits, like 5 or 6 of them. It was only like the really schools like I really like wanted to go to, because my mom was like, I'm not driving all the way to North Carolina if you're not even going to go here.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right. So we dialed it down to like 5 or 6 of them. I was like, all right, I'm going to go here. Walsh, I committed to first. That was my first visit. Really fell in love with the campus. Stuff didn't really work out, so I ended up decommitting. Wanted to be a little closer to home. So we started talking to like schools in like the MAC, and schools in the same conference as Misericordia. I stepped on Misericordia's campus, kind of just like fell in love with it at first sight. Coach really knew what he was doing. He's got like a whole game plan ready to go. He makes sure that all of his players are good with their grades. So like I really like the context with all the like stuff Misericordia coach got going for him right now.
Okay.
And they got like 3 turf fields, so you can't really beat them.
Yeah, no, having access and opportunity to play whenever you need and want to in that regard. Very unique experience decommitting. Was that tough on you mentally, having to kind of reopen and kind of go back into the recruiting pool back again?
Yeah, it was definitely a major setback for me, because like I was like set. I'm like, all right, I'm good. Then summer rolled around. I'm like, all right, I got this summer and the spring to really like prove myself, because again, we don't have any club ball for seniors, so it's like this is summer and this is it. So this summer I kind of just went out and gave it my all since like my last raw, and then I committed, I think like a month after my last summer tournament to Missouri, and I was like, I'm never really looking back to go anywhere else.
Okay. So how did the interactions go with the coaches? So you mentioned sending emails, them getting back to you, setting up campus visits. When all of this went down, how were you interacting with the coaches, the coaching staff at Misericordia?
During phone calls, it's like strictly business. It's, what are your grades? What do you want to do? What do you bring to the team? Like simple questions that like you can answer. Then you go to campus. They give you a tour around the whole thing. It was great complex. And you'll say some jokes. Coaches will talk. Then we'll head back to like the locker room area where like his office was. And we'll actually like get down, talk business again. Like, hey, this is what we want to do next year. This is what we want you to bring. This is what we need you to do. And it's like, all right, if I think I can handle all that, we'll give you this offer right now.
Okay.
So I leave with the offer. Me and my mom go 2 minutes down the road somewhere to eat. You know, we're just talking. We're like, do you see yourself going? I'm like, yeah. And so I send him my transcripts within like 10 minutes after leaving.
Okay. So was that quick, knowing that coach had a game plan for you specifically? You felt that personal connection with coach?
Yeah, I think me and him, Coach Hawk, really, we touched on all the points, and we agreed. We want to win, coming in to win. We need to keep these grades up, and we don't really care what we got to do, but we want to raise that trophy at the end of the year.
Okay, that's impressive. Being able to have that mindset, and that's what you need if you're a head coach, being able to get your recruits to buy into what you want to build. So having that confidence, was that something that drew you into Misericordia more than other schools that you talked to?
Yeah, Coach Hawk definitely had like most confidence talking to me. Is like, I need this out of you, and I know you can do it. Where other coaches were like, yeah, if you come here, you might be a number. I'm like, I'm not looking to be a number. I'm looking to make my number known.
Mm-hmm.
And so Coach Hawk having all of his ducks in a row, I was like, yeah, we're going here.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely important. Feeling like that structure's in place already, and you're going to benefit from that, but you can buy into it as well.
Absolutely.
Going from committing, decommitting, recommitting, and now being set at Misericordia, where did you see the most traction from coaches? Was it emails? Was it videos? Was it them coming to watch you at tournaments? How did they interact with you? and where did you see that most coming from?
Definitely emails. The emails led to phone calls. Phone calls, you really actually got to talk, though. Emails, you couldn't really talk much. So phone calls definitely were a big impact on it. Coming to watch, all coaches were lined up on sidelines for the summer. So it was like, we got to play now. No matter if we got a 7:20 a.m. game in Delaware, we got to be able to go.
Was that something that kind of was an intimidation factor when you're taking the field, you're warming up, and you're like, wow, there's a sideline full of coaches watching? Does that motivate you more? Did you kind of feel a little tense? Like, what was your process like, just letting everybody know, like, what's going through your head in that moment when you see the coaches lined up?
I mean, it's definitely something to like take a nice breath and just kind of just take it in, just move on. Try not to let it get to your head too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like when there's more coaches and then there are parents, it's a little like scary looking. You got to kind of just got to get them out of your head and just play your game.
Yeah, lock in. So mentioning that coaches coming to tournaments, you talk to them online, that overall process of the recruiting process, is there something that like you did find enjoyable about the process, or are there things you didn't like about the process? Kind of sharing that with future student athletes that are looking to get recruited.
I found like stepping on all like different campuses and seeing like what's different about it, all of them. I found that like really cool. I really enjoyed that, but having to set all them up, having to make sure everybody's free, these dates are all good with everybody, that's one thing that takes a lot of time, and I don't think you could really rush that, because yeah, they might have a different recruit come 2 days earlier than you, but I don't think it's that big of a deal. If they want you, they'll have that spot for you.
Stepping foot on campus, you mentioned that feel of getting to know the campus, seeing if you could fit there. The one thing Andrew and I talked about on the last episode is when you step foot on that campus, sport or not, you want to feel comfortable, like that's a home away from home. Do you feel that at Misericordia?
Absolutely. They have some great housing and great like classrooms, and their classroom size isn't too large, which I was really looking for all my schools.
Okay.
Like I'm looking to be a student, not a number in a classroom, like be on a name basis with all my teachers. Like all my grades are good. I can walk up, have a conversation with them. So that atmosphere was like really fitting for me, I think.
Okay.
The rooms in Misericordia was what really did it. Like their dorms, they're not like super tiny. So like I could have like my own room. I could have like my own little piece to myself.
Yeah. Being comfortable away. If you know you're going to be living there, you're going to be on campus, you have to get schoolwork done, you're going to practice, you want to have your own little oasis to go back to and just kind of catch up.
Yeah. Gotta have like my alone time. Gotta have a place to study. Need a place to make my own food.
Yeah, absolutely. So that taking that into consideration, how important that is, and sharing that with everyone, how important was your support system in this? Did you feel like you had support? Did they help you make these decisions and make you feel comfortable in your decisions?
Absolutely. My mom, she was really helpful with all this. And the coaches, they were like, you could take your time. We don't need to hear from you within 30 minutes. And my mom being supportive, she was like, if you like this, which I can tell you do, you can go ahead and send it over.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't hurt to send them over. Let them know you wouldn't mind coming. So my mom, she was great. She was taking off of work, going to different states with me. So that was like a really helpful part of my recruiting process, being able to actually step on multiple campuses instead of just like one or two.
Yeah.
So being able to see how like actual coaches are in person was really great.
Credit to Mom for stepping up and being able to make this experience that much easier for you and be able to explore. There's nuances about each campus, each team, each university you're going to look at. And being able to step foot on that is so important to see comfortability-wise if you feel like you can fit there. And it seems like you found that fit with Misericordia.
Yeah, I really think I did.
Excellent. So now going into your senior season, you've got 3 years under your belt at the high school. What are you looking forward to this upcoming senior season with Parkland Trojans?
Definitely one last ride with the team. Me being the only senior pole on our whole roster, I think the coach is really looking forward for me to take a big leap forward and kind of take charge of our whole defense. We got a bunch of guys we're all coming back. Like our entire offense, we're all ready to go. Our defense, we're ready to go. We kind of just want a crack at Easton. We want to go up against big dogs like teams from Philly. We're not really scared of anybody this year. We think we could take anybody on head on. We're ready to go.
That's awesome. I love that enthusiasm, that ownership, the leadership that comes with being a senior and being the lone senior at that position as well. Going into this last season, big games, you mentioned Easton's one right off the bat that you want another crack at. Any other schools you're looking forward to? Is there another team stadium you like playing in across the valley? Any other away games?
Playing at Emmaus is always great. We really want to just mainly Easton Stadium. They're phenomenal stadium, phenomenal team. They're bringing back pretty much their whole roster besides 2 of their spots. So being able to go up against that whole team again after handing us 2 losses back-to-back last year, we're really looking forward to going, getting like a win back and hopefully bring back a championship for the school. Central Catholic, another team, really solid. They got a couple D1 guys, a couple D3 guys. We're really looking forward to that game too.
As we get set to wrap up, any last thoughts about the recruiting process, anything with your program? The school you're going to attend is Misericordia. Anything you'd like to say to kind of wrap up the episode?
Just don't rush the process. Coaches will find you, play your game, and just don't get nervous when they come to see you.
Okay, excellent. Excellent words of advice. Lincoln Brayford, a senior at Parkland High School, getting set to embark on his senior season with the Trojans, heading to Misericordia University. Lincoln, thanks for your time on this episode.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for tuning in to the Lehigh Valley Prospects Men's Lacrosse Podcast presented by Smith Sports Media. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel searching Lehigh Valley Prospects Podcast. You can stream the podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts searching Lehigh Valley Prospects Men's Lacrosse Podcast. Follow us on social media on Instagram at LV Prospects MLAX Podcast, on X at LV Prospects MLAX, and on Facebook at Lehigh Valley Prospects Men's Lacrosse Podcast. Until next time, I'm your host, LJ Smith, signing off.